So, analog is good, digital is good, ana-digi, well, now we're talking. Hello, yes, and welcome back to the channel. So today I've got a Citizen watch that I'm genuinely excited about, and that's quite a rare thing, despite the fact that Citizen have been really improving their design game in the last 2 to 3 years and making up major ground on Seiko. For me, I've always struggled to find a Citizen watch that has kept my attention and something that would stay long term in my collection. When I saw they were upgrading the Promaster series with these new higher resolution screens and the watches came out looking way more premium, well, I was tempted to pick one up. And then the Skyhawk dropped in this lovely blue colour, and well, I went ahead and picked it up. So I'm really excited to talk about this watch with you today. There's a hell of a lot to unpack, so let's get straight into the review. Okay, so there is a lot of Citizen Promaster Skyhawks available, so let's be clear on this one. This is the JV2000-51L. I know, as always with the big Japanese powerhouses, a very attractive name. Now we will talk in detail about the U830 movement in this, but just a general overview, starting with the dimensions. This is a 43mm diameter watch, it's 13.9mm thick, it's got a 22mm lug width, 48mm lug to lug. However, this watch has male end links, so effectively 54mm if you measure from downturned male end link to downturned male end link. Now the case I think Citizen have done a really good job on, so whilst it's 43mm, the angles and the downturn on those lugs make it fit well. On my 17.5cm wrist, I don't have a problem wearing this. I think it's well proportioned and it looks really good. And you'll see on the wrist, those downturn end links do help it conform nicely. Smaller wrists may have more challenges with this one, so I'd recommend trying it on in a retailer before you purchase. Now this model has the azure blue, as Citizen call it, on the dial, and there is a textured pattern there. It's kind of like a radial groove, a little bit like a vinyl record. You'll only really see it up close, but it's a nice touch. Hour and minute hand are legible, and despite the subdials display and all of the information here, I find it really easy to tell the time, and kudos to Citizen, the contrast on those white hands against the blue and black, mostly on the dial. Yes, it does work, and it's easy to read the analog part of this watch. Now, talking of analog, let's look at the 3 subdials. On the right hand side, a 24-hour indicator, my least favorite / most useless subdial on any watch. In the center we have UTC timing, which is quite nice, especially ties in well with the aviation theme. And on the left hand side, it would be your 60-minute counter for the chronograph, or it also doubles up as a power reserve indicator. And on this U830 module, the power reserve is massive, 1 year from fully charged. That's pretty cool, and it's great for me who rotates watches a lot. I don't need to pull it out every week to keep it charged up. The chapter ring and the bezel are a sliding rule calculator. Now you can do your own research on YouTube as to how these work. I'm not going to go into it today. To be honest with you, I think it's cool, but I'll never ever use it in reality. It's just way easier for me to grab a calculator. In terms of the bezel action though, if you do want to do some calculations, don't worry, there's a very nice resistance. It's easy to turn, but it's not easy to knock, and you'd have to pelt the watch pretty hard to rotate this bezel inadvertently. Hey, just a quick note to say, if you are enjoying today's video on this lovely tool-tastic Citizen, then please don't hesitate to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and most importantly these days, turn on the bell notification icon. Thank you so much, and back to it. Now let's talk about the star of the show, well at least for me, and that is this new memory in pixel screen. I know this isn't the first Citizen watch to feature it. I think one of the land-based Promasters had it first, but this Skymaster integration is my favorite in terms of design. The screen itself is memory in pixel. That's the name of the new technology. What does it actually mean on the wrist for us as watch enthusiasts? Well, it's a much higher resolution display, which means you can get more information in there, and you don't need to pull the watch close to your face or get it at just the right angle to read it and make use of it. So I think it is far more legible and therefore far more useful than previous models, and the higher resolution makes the whole watch feel more premium. To operate the module, I think it's really simple. You just tap the center pusher to go into the menu. You'll notice now we go from negative to positive display, which means menu mode. There's different functions on here. You have your chronograph, you have your world time, you have your countdown timer, you have alarms. It's all the usual stuff that you would expect. There's a settings menu as well. To select a function, for example chronograph, tap the center pusher. It will open that mode. Screen goes back to negative, and now the top and bottom pusher essentially control that mode that's been selected. I found the watch easy to set, and once you set, you just forget. I mean, this watch should keep going for many years without you needing to touch anything, being eco driver of course. I do think Citizen missed a trick with the display here. So I love negative displays and this is great for me, but a lot of you guys don't. And knowing that the technology is able to invert the display, why not have it as a permanently switchable option in the settings menu just to appeal to more customers? To me, that feels like they've really cost themselves a few sales there. The other thing you need to know about this watch and this particular movement is it does not support atomic timekeeping. And for many of you, I think that will seem as a step back from previous Skyhawks despite the advancement in the display. I don't know why this watch wasn't given the functionality, whether it's cost, whether it's in terms of the space available inside the movement with this new technology and this new display. It doesn't change anything for me. I'm not overly fussed about atomic timekeeping, but I'm sure for some of you it will be a turn off. Let me know in the comments on that one. Other points to mention on this watch: it is 200 meters water resistant, which is very impressive for something with 3 pushers. I'm sure you still wouldn't want to operate the pushers underwater anyway, but good job on that, Citizen. The sapphire crystal for me is fine, but it could do with a little bit more AR. When I'm outdoors, especially in lower light conditions, the reflections can be a little bit too much for a flat piece of sapphire. And when you see what Casio do with the Oceanus range at the same price, and how much clarity and how great the AR is on their crystals, I think Citizen could do a little bit more here. The Freelink bracelet I think looks excellent. Endlink integration is fantastic. It's tight up against the case, there's no play, and style wise I think they've done a brilliant job at integrating it and making it look like it just belongs on this watch. I will not take the bracelet off and I will not be putting straps on this. I really like this bracelet. There's a mixture of brushing and polishing on the bracelet. Those center links just have little polished edges. It's enough to brighten the watch up without taking away from the tool-tastic feel. A little Easter egg, at least I think, is that the links look like aerofoils on the cross section, which is a nice tie-in with the aviation theme. Clasp on this one is fine. It's kind of what I expected from a Promaster. The inner is milled, which is good, but the outer is still pressed, still with the 3 holds of micro adjust, but without any form of quick adjust. It just feels very dated at this point, and I think Citizen could do more to modernize their clasps. Brushing and polishing is good. It's not great in terms of clarity. Again, this is a tool watch, so I'm not expecting Zaratsu. I'm okay with it, but just worth to bear in mind at this price point, there will be other watches if you're looking for something a little bit less tooly that would have superior finishing. That said, the watch does feel typically sturdy, as you'd expect from a Citizen Promaster, and I think that kind of makes up for the slightly less refined finishing. Seconds hand does hit the markers there or thereabouts for the most part. It's not Oceanus precise, but it is precise enough. When it comes to QC, Citizen typically lead the way, at least against their biggest rival Seiko. However, this Citizen does have a manufacturing defect, proving that even the mighty Citizen can make a few mistakes. At first I thought it was a small hair on the chapter ring close to the 6 o'clock, but upon closer inspection it certainly looks like a small scratch. I'm not going to bother sending it back, it's so out of the way, and to be honest I genuinely do forget it's there, But it's just worth to point out, Citizen are not infallible to these kind of things, just like any other watchmaker. The lume on this watch, initially, it doesn't look like it packs a great punch, but it makes up for it with the longevity. I'm very impressed with how bright it still is after 7 or 8 hours in the dark. It doesn't lose a lot compared to other watches. The digital display has an orange backlight as well. Just a shame it doesn't light the whole display evenly. You can clearly see where the backlight LED is placed. And for me, as a summary before we get to the conclusion, yes, there are some areas I think could be refined a little bit more, but I love the way this watch looks. I love the way it wears on the wrist. On these wrist shots, I think it's very well proportioned for a 43mm. It's probably the best fitting 43mm watch that I've ever had on my wrist. This watch is as close to a smartwatch as I probably ever want to go. With some of my critiques, I do have to remind myself, this isn't a Breitling B1. This is a reasonably well-priced watch. The Canadian dollar price is $11.95, but you guys know you never pay retail for Citizen. Typically, I always see these watches on sale for anywhere from 20 to 35% at local retailers, and if you've got a good relationship, you can normally ask and squeeze a little bit more out as well, so the effective price is going to be a lot less. So I don't really want to judge the watch at its retail price. I think that's pretty much everything covered. Let me know in the comments if I've missed anything, but for now, let's reach a conclusion on this Citizen U830 powered Skyhawk. So to conclude on this new Promaster Skyhawk from Citizen, well, from my side, if you don't need atomic timekeeping, or you can forgive this watch for not having it, then I think there's so much here that you really won't be disappointed. Yes, the finishing is not on par with equivalently priced micro brands, but you're getting a lot of technology, great module, and I think it's worth the trade-off. There's a few small refinements, as I mentioned, I would have liked to have seen Citizen make, but overall there is enough here for me to think that this really is a great watch, something that I could highly recommend, and something that I've no doubt will serve you for many, many years to come. And that's always kind of been the way with Citizens, but it's been the design element that's been lacking, and this one, so far, and granted, I'm only a few weeks into ownership here, so far, I'm really enjoying it on the wrist. So let's see if this one does hang around in the collection, as I'm hoping it will. But how many times do we say that as watch collectors? Anyway, that's my thoughts and feelings on the Citizen Skyhawk Promaster that I have in front of me today. Let me know in the comments what you think about these new Promaster watches with these higher resolution screens in this ana-digi config. If you're going to pick one up, if you're on the fence, or if you're really not behind it at all. I really enjoy reading the comments. Thank you so much for watching if you've made it this far, and hopefully I'll catch you on the next video. Cheers.